Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, your host for the next half hour. You know the song Jamaica Land of Beauty goes a little something like na 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 na. That's a tune. That line refers to so many areas of our country, like the Blue and Jonker Mountains. We take that nature trail today to explore not just its beauty, but also its economic benefits. We also encourage you to motivate yourself with some inspiring tips and recap government achievements in 2016 and the week that was in the office of the Prime Minister. Stay with us.
We have a subculture that supports those who do not inform, an anti-informer culture that pervades our entire society that we must break down.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Monday, January 23. Jamaica is among 18 countries in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean that will benefit from a United Nations Development Support Program. An agreement for the United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Framework for the Caribbean was signed recently. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says the agreement provides a common platform for development cooperation.
By signing this framework, the Government of Jamaica and the United Nations system are reaffirming their joint commitment to the implementation of the framework.
The 5-year initiative has a regional budget of $197.9 million. Priority areas include education, social protection, healthcare, justice reform, corruption, security, and economic opportunity.
These priority areas aim to ensure that the voices, the realities, the capacities of those most often on the margins of policy development and implementation, women, children, youth, older persons, persons with disabilities, vulnerable groups, are at the forefront of the UN's support to our member states, so that, as mandated by the Global 2030 Agenda for Development, no one is left behind.
2 new hotels will be built in Oyster Bay, Trelawney, adding over 700 rooms to Jamaica's accommodations capacity. They will be built by the Excellence Group of Luxury Hotels and Resorts. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett signed an agreement for the developments during a recent tourism trade fair in Spain. Construction on the first hotel should begin this February and be completed early in 2018. That 325-room property is to cost $110 million. The second hotel, which will have 400 rooms, will open at a later date. The Consumer Affairs Commission, CAC, is expected to make an announcement by month-end on the outcome of discussions for the compensation of motorists affected by contaminated gas. Last year, several motorists complained about engine problems after receiving bad gas at petrol stations island-wide. The CAC met with the Jamaica Association of Petroleum Marketers, Petrojam Ethanol, and other key stakeholders on December 13 to discuss compensation of motorists. Chairman of the CAC, Kent Gammon, says dialogue continues with stakeholders to arrive at a resolution. The Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, PBCJ, has signed an agreement with the Chinese government for the exchange of program content. The agreement will see China providing the PBCJ with the 2 popular television series, Running Into Good Luck and Romance of Parents, free of cost. PBCJ's board chairman Gladstone Wilson pointed to the importance of the agreement.
Technology and the use of media assist with that exchange of culture, and that is why this initiative, I'm sure, is going to blossom and will expose the Jamaican people to what is happening in China, your culture, and other things about your way of life that we are anxious to see.
Pointing out that 2017 marks the 45th year of diplomatic relations between Jamaica and China, Chinese Ambassador Niu Qingbao praised the strength of that relationship.
Our relationship is the best of China's bilateral relationship in the English-speaking Caribbean countries. I say that because Jamaica has been regarded by China as its only partner in production capacity cooperation in the Caribbean. No other country.
And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Saturday's launch of the Caribbean Journal of Strategic and Security Studies has put Jamaica closer to formulating a security policy that is accepted by all. The journal was published by the Jamaica Defense Force and the United States Naval College. It covers threats to national and regional security, as well as water and energy security and climate change. Prime Minister Holness says the publication provides an opportunity for ideas to be explored and a common policy and action to be solidified.
We need a doctrine to deal with security that every single Jamaican can understand, support, and see their own role in making the nation safe. So for me, this is not merely an academic pursuit. We must make this accessible to every single Jamaican.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Kerry-Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Violence against women and girls is a human problem, not just a woman's problem. It's a problem for men too. Gender violence takes many forms, including sexual assault, domestic violence, relationship abuse, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse of children. The magnitude of ongoing violence against women and children in our country is cause for alarm. We can end the violence. It requires all of us to end the violence. I call on all our men and women in Jamaica to take a stand. And men, especially, must get involved in this movement to create a better world for their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their fathers, their sons, and for themselves. Let's protect and reassure. Let's unite to end gender violence.
– 2016 recorded several achievements for the government. Let's look at a few of them.
Advancing prosperity through labor and social protection formed a critical plank of government's strategic mission in 2016. One of the first actions in the year was an increase to the national minimum wage. Payments for government pensioners were also increased. And the National Insurance Amendment Act 2016 was tabled in the House of Representatives, proposing an actuarial review of the National Insurance Fund and the National Insurance Scheme every 3 years, instead of the 5 years which prevails. Under the Social Security portfolio, ground was broken for an $87 million early stimulation multipurpose facility at Hanover Street in Kingston. In April, the Mikhail Betancourt Early Stimulation Center of Excellence was opened to provide special needs children in eastern Jamaica with better access to therapeutic and educational services.
This government that I'm a part of is committed to strengthening the disability agenda and to ensuring the full participation of persons with disabilities in the Jamaican society.
On July 1, a new 17-member management board was announced for the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD. The ministry also continued work to strengthen the National Registry for Persons with Disabilities and to encourage their employment through empowerment grants and training. And in November, the ministry launched the PATH Youth Ambassadors Initiative with 16 former recipients of the Social Security Program.
Ambassadors, I now charge you with the responsibility to motivate and influence other PATH beneficiaries and to enhance the visibility of the achievements of youth on the program.
In May, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced plans for a 4-point work policy towards full employment for all Jamaicans. A plan for the rollout of a human resource management information system across government was also announced last year.
And this is one way in which we could reduce our wage to GDP without removing even one person, even one job from the public sector.
In June, the Labour and Social Security Ministry took steps towards having mandatory use of the Labour Market Information System (LMIS) to advertise all job vacancies in the public sector.
When all public bodies use the system, at any point in time, the government will be able to know all vacancies that exist in the public sector.
Students were also exposed to labour market trends and other information through the Labour Market Information System. Meanwhile, a $1.6 billion New Employment Opportunities for Youth in Jamaica project was launched to provide vocational training and job placement opportunities.
This pioneering alliance in which businesses, government and civil society join forces to provide resources, knowledge and capacities in order to implement efficient and sustainable youth employment solutions is one of the applications that we know fully well will help to fix what is wrong with Jamaica.
In June, Minister Shahini Robinson led a delegation to the 105th Assembly of the International Labour Organization in Geneva, Switzerland, where she outlined Jamaica's efforts to enact a modern Occupational Safety and Health Act.
Presently, we are conducting sensitization sessions and initial consultations with stakeholders, including businesses, private businesses, and helping to build capacities in preparation for this legislation.
Through the Labour Advisory Council and Industrial Disputes Tribunal, a number of labour disputes were successfully settled during the past year. During August, Minister Robinson travelled to Canada to meet with current and prospective employers about expanding the Overseas Employment Programme. In November, the ministry, in collaboration with the ILO Decent Work Team and Office for the Caribbean, provided conciliation and negotiation skills training to enhance the capabilities of conciliation officers and labour officers within the ministry. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security in 2016, advancing prosperity for Jamaican workers and the most vulnerable.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his team at the Office of the Prime Minister were kept busy this past week. Catch the highlights in Jamaica House Weekly.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness calls for a collaborative approach to crime fighting, discusses partnership on energy and culture, and prays for God's intervention and transformation of Jamaica. This is Jamaica House Weekly. I am Simone Wolf.
I'm hoping that this very well put together journal will give an opportunity for the issues to be thoroughly explored, and that there can emerge from the exploration of the issues a common perspective on policy and action.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness welcoming the inaugural launch of the Caribbean Journal of Strategic and Security Studies on Saturday. A collaborative effort of the Jamaica Defense Force and the United States Naval College, the journal covers topics such as local and international terrorism, arms proliferation, and homicides across the region. Water and energy security as well as climate change are also discussed.
We have to get a handle on crime. This government is determined to do it. We have learned the lessons of the past, and therefore we will do it with respect for human rights. We will do it through education. We will do it through collaboration, and we will do it by being just and firm and strategic in how we go about dealing with the criminals.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was speaking at Friday's groundbreaking for ATL Autobahn Kingston, a state-of-the-art showroom for their BMW and Mini brands. A hotel will also be constructed on the property. In lauding the ATL Automotive Group for their $50 million investment, the Prime Minister affirmed the government's commitment to providing a platform and environment where businesses and citizens can succeed. Earlier in the week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness lauded another private sector company for its investment in protecting the environment. J. Ray and nephew pumped $6 million into developing and implementing a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment facility, a solid waste recycling zone, and a solar energy system at its facility. During Wednesday's tour, Mr. Holness said the innovative environmental solutions emphasized the critical role of the company in reducing its own energy costs as well as its impact on the environment.
They have given a clear indication that as good corporate citizens, sustainable development is paramount as they continue to tangibly demonstrate that they believe in Jamaica and envision only best practices in their operations.
While praising the partnership between the company and the National Environment and Planning Agency in the undertaking, Mr. Holness called on other companies to follow suit. By Saturday, Prime Minister Holness was at Up Park Camp witnessing a change of command of the Jamaica Defence Force. Newly appointed Chief of Defence Staff, Brigadier Rocky Meade, succeeds Major General Anthony Anderson, who was elevated to the post of National Security Advisor in the office of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister also took time out last week to meet with a delegation from Venezuela, reaffirming the ties of friendship and cooperation between the two countries. Included in the talks were Energy Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley and Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith. Discussions were focused on energy in relation to the upgrading of the Petrojam oil refinery, cultural exchange through music, and existing and new trade arrangements. A new trade agreement being proposed by the Venezuelan government, classified as basket of goods, was put on the table.
We're also delighted to hear of this new initiative, this new trade initiative, which my understanding from what you have said is quite separate and apart from the trade initiatives under Petrocarib. I'm sure the Jamaican private sector would be very eager to see what they could supply in this basket of goods.
The terms of agreement and selected goods for export will be discussed by both governments. This arrangement will be done through direct export and not under the Petrocaribe Compensation Trade Agreement. The exchange of music and learning of Spanish and the Venezuelan culture are close to completion with the pending signing of the agreement. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was among the nation's political and civil society leaders who came together on Thursday for the 37th National Leadership Prayer Breakfast. Among other things, the event called for the country to embrace the virtues of justice, self-giving solidarity, compassion, mercy, and humility. Prime Minister Holness read the first scripture from Jonah 3.
Let everyone turn from his evil way and turn from the violence that is in his hand.
And that's how we close Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Up next, unearthing the economic benefits of the Blue and John Crow Mountains.
Located on the eastern end of the island within the preservation zone of the Blue and John Crow Mountains National Park and Forest Reserve is the Blue and John Crow Mountains World Heritage Site. It was inscribed on the UNESCO's prestigious World Heritage List in 2015, making it Jamaica's first World Heritage Site. Now Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange has begun a series of stakeholder sessions to enlighten residents on ways they can earn from living in such a historical and culturally rich space.
This effort is to ensure that Jamaica benefits economically from this international designation. The history and current reality of the communities of the Blue and John Crow Mountains point to the need for new and creative approaches founded on the cross-cutting nature of culture and the economic value that must be placed on the products and services created and lived, and I quote, lived within these communities. Much of what we must create and market to the rest of Jamaica, the Caribbean and the world are in fact the lived heritage of a people.
The aim, therefore, is to unearth business opportunities, enable job creation and find more ways to earn an income. The overall initiative is being executed by the Jamaica Conservation and Development Trust, JCDT, which manages the World Heritage Site.
One of the benefits of being a World Heritage Site is that there are a lot of tourism opportunities, heritage tourism opportunities, and that is the way that the tourism industry is going nowadays. Yes, people want to go on the beach a little bit, but they don't want to spend their whole vacation there. They want to experience natural heritage, cultural heritage, and experience community life. And so we are using the opportunity of this workshop, as well as a series that will be going on through the next several months, to work with communities to develop what these economic opportunities will be. They have to be economic activities that will not damage or degrade the natural heritage. They need to be environmentally friendly. They should focus on whatever cultural resources are there in the community already and build on those.
You can also contemplate community-based products. We're looking at developing artisan villages, and artisan villages can become attractions. What an artisan village? They come to see you sitting down making the drum. They can sit beside you, help you knock in a nail. That's part of the experience. They come and they see the potter in the room working on his thing. So the artisan villages seeing artisans at work, not just people selling products that have been imported.
Among the communities being targeted are Accompong, Moortown, Scotts Hall and Charlestown. One resident who lives in the Blue and John Crow Mountain area attests how his community has already been able to achieve economic gains.
We write to EFJ for a project to open the Kunu Kunu Pass Trail, which is one of the oldest trails in Jamaica with a lot of history. Now we got the funding and we opened the Kunu Kunu Pass Trail, which with an intention that we will achieve visitor to the Kunu Pass Trail. We look and see what we had. We look at the forest. We see the beautiful forest. We know all the things that we had in the forest. So we said we could put it to economic use. So we started and we built a cabin, and the visitors started to come in using the trail. And so we prolonged. We got another grant from smaller grant, and we planted 10 acres of reforestation. We moved from 1 cabin to 5 cabins. We can house 30 guests at Ambassador now. So we moved from from farming to ecotourism.
Amazing, isn't it? It's with the goal of creating more stories like this why the ministry and its partners are investing in engaging and educating residents who live in and around the Blue and John Crow Mountains.
This is Jamaica's first World Heritage inscription and the only mixed site in the Caribbean. This is not an achievement to be taken lightly.
We are ready in this ministry to work closely with these communities to provide mentorship and other support mechanisms aimed at strengthening these events, certainly in the area of management and organization. We also intend to partner with our tourism experts and JBDC to deal with product development and sales, marketing and promotion internationally, as also with the Ministry of Local Government and National Works Agency to treat with access to these communities.
For more information, contact the Jamaica Conservation and Development Trust at 960-2848-9 or send an email to jamaicaconservation@gmail.com. You can also visit blueandjohncrowmountains.org and click on Community Tourism Opportunities.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Theodore Henry. In today's Minute, we'll be talking about retirement planning and practical steps you can take to prepare for this important period of life. For some, retirement may seem like a lifetime away. For others, it's just around the corner. But one thing is certain, you need to have money saved for your retirement. Once you retire, you may find it difficult to earn through work. Therefore, careful planning is a must. The first step is to start saving as soon as you can. The power of compound interest takes time for its magic to work, so the more time you have, the more your money will grow. Remember too that you pay fewer taxes on your income when you make these contributions. Individuals can save towards retirement through superannuation funds or retirement schemes. A superannuation fund is a pension plan put in place by an employer for the benefit of employees. Both employer and employees contribute to the plan. On the other hand, retirement schemes are special savings products. These are specifically for self-employed persons and persons who are employed in positions that do not allow them to be members of a superannuation fund. Employer contribution is optional. However, saving for retirement is not limited to these pension arrangements. Your licensed financial advisor or securities dealer can provide you with additional information on the right investment options to help you reach your retirement goals. For a listing of registered retirement schemes, investment advisors, and securities dealers, visit the FSC's website at www.fscjamaica.org. I'm Theodore Henry, and this was your FSC Minute.
Now, every one of us has here an opportunity to make a difference. When you step out to do your job every single day, you have to step out with passion. Passion is what gives life to the day. Passion is what excites you. I'm sure there are times when some of you in here, there is a story that you want, and you try and you try and you try and you try, and it's not happening. And you said this morning, it is going to happen. And you get up with that kind of confidence and faith, and you step out there. Let me tell you something. Passion opens doors that doubt never opens. The other thing I want to talk to you about is purpose. When God made you and placed you here on this earth, He packaged you with your purpose. Do you believe that? It is important that you find it. And if you have not yet found it, you need to start seeking and seeking and seeking and seeking. And it is important that you don't live your life through the eyes of others and what their expectations are of you. You have to know what you're good at. Yeah? They say humility is not covering up your ability. A lot of times the opportunities are there for us. We need to take action.
And that's how we close out Jamaica Magazine, but only for today. The program returns tomorrow, round about the same time on this very station. We maintain a strong online presence, so visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Join us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube page, or just send us an email, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.